A very good day to all of my students. Welcome to the discussions. Today's topic is demand. It is one of the most important topic because in the concept of the microeconomics, in the study of the microeconomics, demand play a very important role. To understand demand, so first we need to understand, so what is demand? What is the meaning of demand? Usually from childhood we understand demand represent, say what you want, it's all about your demand. What I want, it's all about my demand. But sir, in economics, is this the demand is also what you want only? Now, the definition you can see right now in front of your screen. Demand of a commodity refers to the quantity of a commodity which a consumer is willing to buy at a given price and time. Listen. So once we talk about demand, the first thing we need to understand here, demand represents two things. Number one, human want. Plus, number two, human purchasing ability or purchasing power. What does it mean? In simple language, if you ask me, sir, if I want to achieve something, isn't not being considered my demand in terms of economics? Certainly not. If you have only want, if you have only desire to buy some product, suppose you earn 20,000 rupees per month, you're having a desire in your mind that you wanted to purchase Lamborghini. Just tell me, would it be considered to be your demand? Certainly not. Because it is only represent your desire, your want, which is not financially practical. Now question comes then, sir, what? So if you have the ability to buy it, suppose you earn 50,000 rupees per month and you wanted to purchase a four-wheeler, your price limit, it is around within 10 lakhs, which is quite affordable, and basically we can consider it. So basically, look at the definitions. The demand of a commodity, it refers to the quantity of a commodity which a consumer is willing to buy, means the consumer is ready to purchase at the given price of time, at the given price and time. Why they have talked about the given price and time? This is a very important question. So why they have mentioned the given price and time? It means, sir, it means that if the price will change, if the time will change, it means that the demand of the particular product will change? Is this that it is being represented by that? I will come into the discussion shortly. Before that, I would like to talk about the demand function. So, what is demand function all about? You can see into the screen. Demand function, it is the functional representations between the demand of a commodity and the factor affecting to the demand. Okay. Before talk about the demand functions, I would like to talk about that. Here, once we are talking about demand, here we need to understand in the microeconomics perspective, we can consider the demand for two different categories. One is the individualistic demand or individual demand. Another is the market demand or composite demand. What does individual demand represent? Individual represents, say, hey, you as an individual, you have certain different desire, you have different income, you have your own choice, taste, liking, desire and preferences. So once I am going to talk about individual demand, here I am going to talk about your personal demand. At the same time, once I am going to talk about the market demand, here I am going to talk about people composite demand. People composite demand. I just give you one simple example, you better understand, you can connect, you can understand. Suppose few days back, there was a very popular movie had been released, even nominated for Oscars from India. The name of the movie is RRR, Triple R. We can consider the demand of RRR in the cinema hall as a representation of the market demand, because majority of the people choosing RRR, it is one of their favorite movies. That's why RRR, Pathan, this kind of movie is majorly worldwide, very much blockbuster and hit. Now at the same point, there are people who might not like this kind of movie, this kind of theatrical movie, this kind of entertainment movie. People might not be emotionally connect with this kind of movie, might not be. Here every individual have their own thought process, may not like this particular movie. So now that time, once I am talking about individuals thought process, so we are talking about individual demand. Now coming to that particular point, once we are talking about the demand function, the demand function is, it is not only about the demand function, the factor by which the demand of a particular goods has been dependent upon. Some reason behind it by which the demand of a particular goods has been dependent upon. That is what is called the demand function. So we will going to discuss this demand function broadly and elaboratingly in the next page. Okay, so guys, you can see the next page. Here I first would like to talk about the individual demand, or the function of individual demand, or the factor of individual demand. So you now rightly know what is individual demand all about. I just talk about it. Individual demand function shows how the demand of a commodity demanded by individual customer in the market, it is related to its various department. This is represent demand of a product X, and the derivation, the functions, it will depends upon price of the goods X, price of the alternative goods or relative goods. Y represent income, T represent taste and preference, E represent the expectations in future. So basically these are the factor. Here we have a brief own price, that is Px, price of the related goods, maybe substitute, maybe complementary, we will talk about it later. This is represent PR. Income of a consumer, then we have normal goods and inferior goods, that is Y. Taste represent T, future expectation represent F. I would like to talk about this particular point deeply. First point, look at this particular point. The first point, factor affecting demand. First point, price of a commodity. Now look at my students, here it is written, when the price of a commodity rises, demand of a commodity will decreases, and vice versa. It means simple. It is a very normal trend. Price of X, if it is increase, demand of this particular X, it will decrease. It's very simple. It's very normal. Price of X will decrease, demand of X will increase. It is very certain. We know that very well, very elaboratively. So if the price will increase, demand will decrease. Price will decrease, demand will increase. Just think about yourself. Once you enter to the market, forgot everything. Your first observations is your price. What is the price of the goods? Suppose you have 100 rupees in your pocket. If the price of the goods is 20 rupees, you can able to purchase 5 units of the products. If the price of the goods is 25 rupees, you can able to purchase 4 units of the product. So automatically price will increase, the demand will decrease. That is very certain. Okay, coming to the next point. Price of the related commodity. What does it mean? Price of the other commodity affect to the demand of commodity in two ways. Number one, substitute. Number two, complementary. Substitute example is tea and coffee. Complementary example is car and petrol. Let me first talk about substitutable goods. Just give me a moment. Substitute. So guys, students, we very well known about that. There are few goods which are being very nearly substitute goods like tea and coffee. I never see an individual who is having tea and coffee together right at a time. Never see. We either approaches for tea or approaches for coffee. It is a very near substitute goods. Why I am using the term near substitute? Because there are a lot of goods which we consider substitute but not actual substitute. We consider the sapphire is a substitute of diamond, but this is a near substitute, not the exact and absolute substitute. Here tea and coffee, it is absolute substitute goods. Now think about that. If the price of the particular tea had been increased, so what happened? The people, those who like to have tea, would like to shift their demands towards coffee. So automatically the demand of coffee will increase. It means that demand of tea will decrease. At the same time, if the price of the coffee will increase, then what happened? You guys think and answer me into the comment box. It is called substitute effect. Next point, complementary goods. What is complementary goods? So guys, what is complementary goods? We all know. There are very few goods we usually that usually depend upon the consumption of the other goods. I just give you one example, like car and petrol. Pen and ink. Just we talk about coffee and tea, so tea and sugar or milk. Why these are complementary goods? These are complementary goods because we are going to consume car and petrol at a time, because the consumption of petrol and the consumption of car, it will depend upon the price of petrol. The consumption of pen depend upon the price of ink. The consumption of sugar, it will depend upon the price of tea, or the consumption of tea, it will depend upon the price of sugar or milk. Just think about that. There are a lot of people want to purchase four-wheeler vehicles, but sometimes they will not going to purchase it due to the maintenance cost, due to the cost of petrol. So basically, if the petrol cost, if it is increased day by day, we can certainly see the demand of the car will decrease day by day. At the same time, if the price of the ink will increase day by day, so the demand of the pen will decrease day by day. And the same thing happened to the sugar and milk with the tea. So that is the factors regarding to the price of the related goods. Coming to the next point, income of a consumer. It is also a very important point. Income of a consumer, once we talk about income, income has been represented in the term of Y, capital Y. Once we talk about income, basically we first need to understand, here we are talking about the real income. What is real income? Real income defines the purchasing power or purchasing ability. My student, listen very carefully. Once we are talking about Y, again I am talking about income. Again I am talking about income represent real income, which represent purchasing power by purchasing abilities. Means what? Suppose I have 100 rupees in my pocket and Mr. Y have 1000 rupees in his pocket. So what we can say? My ability of buying by rupees 100 definitely lesser than the ability of purchase of Mr. Y, rupees 1000. If we both are going to planning to purchase the same product, because he's having an income 10 times more than mine, so if he want, he can afford more product. He can afford more product in compare with me. So Mr. Y having well ability to afford more products, way more products than me. This is what I'm talking about, the income. If income will increase, in certainly we believe demand of a product will increase. If income will decrease, in normal cases the demand of a product will decrease. Now sir, you talk about two different goods here. One is normal goods, another is inferior goods. What does it mean? In normal goods, this particular psychology, what we talk about, that income increase, demand also increase, income decrease, demand also decrease. This particular psychology is being proven and accepted. This is the fundamental of normal goods. But in case of the inferior goods, this thing will slightly change. Let me tell you why change and why it will comes. We first need to understand, once we are talking about demand, here human psychology play a very important role. Say, I always having a keen desire in my mind, I wanted to purchase product X, but due to the lack of my earning, I have to purchase product Y. Listen very carefully. I always wanted to purchase product X. There are a lot of people in the world, they always wanted to purchase iPhone. They keep in desire in the mind, they always wanted to purchase iPhone. Since iPhone is little costlier than in comparison with the other phones, and since their money, the budget of their is not support to purchase iPhone, they are not able to buy the iPhone. So they have to manage with the rest of the other phones. So basically, in the keen desire of the mind, the person wanted to purchase iPhone, but they have to manage with the product Y, since his income is not able to afford, his real purchasing power is not able to afford the iPhone. Now thing is, income, if it is increased, what we generally expect, income increase Y, so by product Y, the product Y will going to create more demand in the market as per the normal goods. Because I told you that if your income will increase, definitely your purchasing ability will increase, you will purchase more product Y. But in case of the inferior goods, we found if your income will increase, now listen it very carefully, if your income will increase, that particular goods, the product Y will immediately become an inferior product of you, because now you can able to purchase product X Like now you are having ability to buy the iPhone. So definitely you will not going to purchase any other phone that what you have been purchased thoroughly. You will definitely plan to purchase the iPhone next. That is the common perspective, my friend. That is the in general perspective, my friend. That is what is called inferior goods. In case of inferior goods, suppose a person always used to have their lifestyle to having chicken because they are not able to purchase mutton in their regular session of livelihood. But now once his income is increased, so now rather buying more chicken, he will definitely wanted to purchase mutton. Now this chicken is going to be an inferior product. In this particular case of inferior goods, we found if income will increase, rather this kind of inferior goods demand will decrease and vice versa. Hope you guys understand. Next point, taste and preference. So every individual having their own choices, own liking, own taste, own preferences. I'm going to respect individual choice. I'm going to respect individual taste. There are people who love to listen the rock music. There are people who love to listen the Ravindra Sangeet. There are people who love to listen the music did by Hani Singh and Batsha. So there are people who like to listen the music of classical music, more like Manna Dey and such kind of music. So basically every individuals are having a different taste and preferences. We should respect individual taste, and according to individual liking and disliking, they are going to purchase product. Now coming to the expectations, populations and climate. So my friend, expectation represent mostly like future expectation. I like to talk about it. Just a minute. Future expectation. What is this? Let me tell you. Let me tell you guys. What is future expectation? Listen to it very carefully. Future expectation means we individual always try to purchase goods where the price expectation in future will increase more. Just give you more simple example. Once we try to purchase, we wanted to invest money into the share market. Where did we want to invest our money? Just think like that. Is this the share which is not going to increase in future, or is this the share which is possibly will increase the price in future? Definitely the share, the price will possibly increase in the future market. So expectation is that. Expectation means we are always trying to purchase any particular product where we are expecting the price will increase in future. So if you are expecting more, you will invest more, you will buy more product according to it. Next to populations, obviously any country, any state, any representation of country which is having more population represent more demand. A country like India, it has having more demand. It's very comparatively more demand. A country like Luxembourg or Norway or something like that, Scandinavian climates. Now coming to the point, climate. Climate is always create a very huge impact on the demand. So people who live into the desert, they're having own taste, own liking, own preferences. People live in the very coolest place in the world, they're having own taste, own liking, own preferences. So climate is also a very important factor to deciding the demand. So my friend, I hope you guys understand the basic concept that what are the factors that impact on the demand. Coming to the market demand, say we just talk about the individual demand. Likely in individual demand, we will only mention the point 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. These 3 points, expectations, population and climate, it will be the additional point that will represent the market demand, more like market demand. What is market demand? Market demand is represent the composite or aggregate demand. Composite or aggregate demand. I just talk about you that once the RRR movie had been released, majority of the people want to watch the movie. So the RRR movie is going to be a blockbuster, very super hit movie. Why? Because a lot of people want to watch the movie. That's why it is going to be a very super hit movie. So that's my point of view. If any, we are talking about the market demand. In market demand, the 3 additional factors, apart from these all factors, the 3 additional factors also introduced. One is expectation, next is the climate and the population. These 3 factors will going to additional impact to the market demand. With this note, I would like to end the lecture for today. In the next video, I will continue that why the demand curve will downward sloping. This is also a very important factor. We will continue our discussion, the contractions and expansions of demands. We will continue the discussion with the elasticity of the demand. So we need 2 more videos to finish the demand chapter fully complete. But whatever I discussed today, I hope you guys understand. If you understand, then please share your love, share your best wishes. And if you have any query and question, please write in the comment box. You can see the phone numbers. If you can directly contact with us, we are always happy to serve and we are always happy to guide you for the betterment of your future. Thank you, my students. I would not approach to do the like, share and comment. Rather, I would say if you enjoy the video, then only you like, then only you share.